Loneliness isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a scroll at midnight, hoping someone, somewhere, gets it. Have you ever sat in a crowded room and felt like you were completely invisible? Like you could vanish and no one would even notice? That's not just sadness, that's a deeper hunger. A hunger for connection. And for many of us, that's how addiction begins. Let's start with a simple truth. We are wired for connection, not just psychologically, but biologically. Our nervous systems are social systems. We co-regulate, heal in relationship. We survive in tribes. But when your childhood lacked safety, when you felt unseen, unsafe, or unloved, begin to internalize a dangerous message. I don't belong. And the body doesn't just forget that, it stores it. So later in life, when substances enter the picture, it's not just about getting high, it's about quieting that ache. The ache of not feeling like you have a place. The ache of walking into a room and scanning for exits, not eyes. Addiction for many becomes a substitute for connection. Alcohol becomes your companion. Weed becomes your numbing balm. Sex, food, gambling, they become stand-ins for the presence you never had. You chase the feeling of safety, of intimacy, of belonging. But here's the trap. What starts as a solution soon becomes a cycle, because the more you use, the more you isolate. And the more you isolate, the more the hunger grows. Ask yourself, can you trace the moment when your using stopped being about escape and started being about loneliness? Let's go deeper. Loneliness isn't just an emotion. It's a state that rewires your brain. Neuroscientists have shown that chronic loneliness triggers the same survival circuits as physical danger. Your amygdala stays on alert. Your cortisol levels stay elevated. You enter a chronic state of threat, even if you're in a room full of people. Why? Because belonging isn't just proximity. It's presence. You can be surrounded and still feel completely disconnected. Because what you're craving isn't people. It's resonance. It's being seen, being felt, being understood. Addiction offers a shortcut. For a moment, a brief, powerful moment. The drink makes you feel warm. The hit makes you feel alive. The dopamine rush mimics the neurochemical reward of human connection. But it's not real. It fades. And when it fades, you're left even emptier than before. This is where the cycle tightens. You feel lonely, so you use. You use, so you isolate. You isolate, so you feel lonelier, and round it goes. Ask yourself, what has your addiction been trying to protect you from? Disconnection? Judgment? Abandonment? Now let's talk shame. Shame isn't just guilt. Guilt says I did something bad. Shame says I am bad. When you carry shame, especially from childhood trauma, neglect, or rejection, you internalize a sense of defectiveness. That you're too much, or not enough, or just wrong. So, what happens when you grow up with that weight? You don't reach out. You don't trust people to stay. You don't believe you deserve love. And then addiction enters, giving you the illusion of control. But here's the kicker. Addiction deepens the shame. You used to feel better, but afterward, you feel worse. You feel guilt, regret, and more proof that you're unlovable. Shame isolates. Isolation deepens the ache. And that ache, it feeds the addiction. It's not just a loop. It's a trap, one you can't shame yourself out of. That's why recovery has to start with compassion. You can't punish your way into healing. You can't hate yourself into wholeness. What you need isn't more willpower. It's more warmth. It's not more toughness, but tenderness. Ask yourself, can you hold compassion for the version of you who used just to feel okay? Not because you were bad, but because you were in pain. So where do we go from here? We rebuild connection, but not just with others, with ourselves. Belonging isn't just about being accepted by the world. It's about no longer abandoning yourself. When you stop betraying your truth to fit in, when you stop performing for approval, when you start honoring your boundaries, your voice, your needs, that's belonging. In recovery, we often say connection is the opposite of addiction. That's not a metaphor. That's neuroscience. Support groups, therapy, safe community, they don't just give you motivation, they give you regulation. When someone sees your pain and stays, when you cry in front of others and they don't flinch, when you say I used again and no one walks away, that's what starts to rewire your brain. That's what begins to heal the wound. But it takes time and risk and the willingness to stay even when it feels awkward or scary. Because every time you show up for real, you're teaching yourself, maybe I do belong. Ask yourself, what's one connection you could nurture today, even if it feels small or scary? Recovery isn't about becoming someone new. It's about coming back to who you really are. Before the using, before the pretending, before the shame. The person who laughed easily, who wanted closeness, who trusted their own voice. That person isn't gone. They've just been buried under years of armor. And now, you get to come home. That's what this journey is about. Not perfection, not constant happiness, but presence, honesty, realness. You won't always get it right. You will stumble. You will doubt. But if you can stay in your body, stay in your truth, stay in community, then healing becomes inevitable. You're not weak for wanting connection. You're human. The moment you stop hiding is the moment you start healing. You don't heal in isolation. You heal in relationship, starting with the one you have with yourself. If this spoke to something real in you today, don't walk away silently. Tap like. If you've ever felt like the outsider craving a way in, subscribe. Not just to follow, but to remind yourself you're not doing this alone. Drop a comment, even a single sentence. It might help someone else feel less alone today. You don't need to be perfect to belong. You just need to be honest. And if you're still here, maybe this is where the belonging begins.